Hey, my name is Stix and welcome back to another episode of Player Pass, a new video series that I do where I delve into brand new released or upcoming gacha games that I got to play over the course of beta test, alpha test, early access. These are my personal subjective opinions. They might differ to yours, and that's more than fine. Today we are taking a look at Danmachi Battle Chronicle. This is a game that released in the last, I think, 2 weeks. I've dedicated the last 5 days of my time to playing through it, and admittedly, I've had some fun. Now, if you want to stay up to date with new gacha games, if you want to stay up to date with what's going on in the entire gacha scene, whether it concerns drama, new releases, upcoming releases, subscribe to the channel, because, I mean, I cover it all, every single day. Immediately, you'll notice Chestia. Yeah, I have Chestia set as the character on my home. I actually have the option of setting numerous characters in a variety of different settings as my home screen, but at the same time, why would you want to? Like, out of all the characters that I've obtained thus far, Chestia is by far the most appealing to look at. She's very talkative, like, I'll give her that. This girl just does not shut up. But I mean, it is okay, because at the end of the day, she's worth it. So Battle Chronicle is not the first Danmachi game. I think there is another Danmachi game out there in Memoria Freeze. I know Battle Chronicle has been embroiled in several different spouts of drama recently due to, I think the most recent one was their limited banner characters. I think the previous ones were also concerning banner characters. Don't quote me. I haven't really delved all that much into the game or into its drama because it didn't really concern me. There were more important things to talk about. At present, we're talking about the game and not the drama. So the game thus far, I've obtained 3 UR characters, 5 SSRs, and 3 SRs. And that is very impressive. The reason I say it's impressive is because I have not actually pulled for many heroes. On the contrary, I think I've done a grand total of 30 pulls, if that. So in 3 10 pulls, I've actually managed to acquire 3 full UR characters. One of which is actually, I believe, one of the more powerful characters in the game. And then of course there's Belle, who is also incredibly OP. But one of my personal favorites from the anime, Ice. So I was very happy with what I got. I feel like the gacha rates are actually very fair. Getting 3 UR characters and 5 SSRs in 30 to 40 pulls is something that just typically gacha games do not do. And I am more than happy that they did in this instance, because I got to play through the game with some very powerful characters. Now, I will admit, I do have 3 UR characters, and I opted to go in with 2 UR and 1 SSR because I feel like gacha games, while we can go the meta route and stick to the OP team compositions, it's also a lot about playing as the characters with the husbandos or the waifus that you have, because you're going to be playing with them and as them for a prolonged period of time. Therefore, you want to enjoy what you're looking at. So that's why I went for Ice. Now, while there are your controllable combat units, you also have assist units, which I managed to pull 1 SSR, 3 SRs. These are essentially additives to your character. You kind of like equip them before going into battle. You can upgrade your characters. Each character has their own elemental affinity. As an example, she requires wind to upgrade. He requires fire to upgrade. He requires electricity, so lightning, to upgrade. She requires earth to upgrade. So everyone has their own unique elemental affinity. They have their own unique materials that are necessary to limit break and continue leveling them. I will note that leveling them and limit breaking them is actually quite the arduous process, grinding the materials to actually do so. And the difficulty scaling in this game is fucking horrific. Hitting level 20, even just in the first 2 days of playing, I could not progress. I hit a wall where I needed to wait another day so I could continue to grind materials to limit break my characters. I'm on day 5, and I finally limit broke them so they could push through to level 40. I only managed to achieve that as of today, day 5. Prior to that, I continued to hit a wall where the combat power necessary to complete the levels was exponentially higher than the combat power that I had. Now that I have hit the level 40 limit that I'm at, going into story quests, I'm currently 4 missions through chapter 4. The recommended combat power is already 11,500. For reference here, the first battle was 11,100. So over the course of 2 battles, the necessary combat power went up by almost 500. And I didn't level at all. I didn't obtain new materials to limit break my characters. So over the course of the entire episode 4, the combat power recommended goes up to almost 13,000. It starts you off at 11 and goes to almost 13, which makes the combat unbearably difficult, even with 2 SSR heroes. Now, the combat is actually one of the areas that I think the game really excels in. You equip scene cards, which are essentially like a form of gear that you can upgrade that give you statistical bonuses. You equip an assist character, which is essentially a form of gear and provides you statistical benefits just like the scene cards do. After setting up your 3-person team, you set off, and then you're immediately thrown into an instance. Now, combat is direct action combat. You use I'm playing on an emulator because I have fat fingers and I don't like playing action games on my iPhone. So combat is direct action combat. I have it set so spacebar allows for me to dodge. I have my abilities set to Q and E. Each character has 2 abilities and then 1 special ultimate ability. Each assist character that you equip has their own either passive or directly beneficial effect or ability or skill. So as you saw, Chessia actually healed. My ultimate ability is a big AoE. Very powerful. And yeah, there are some slight FPS issues on LD player right now, but overall, when not recording, this runs pretty well. So each character has their own unique fighting style. We have our own unique elemental affinity. We have our own strengths and weaknesses. And honestly, I feel like the combat is actually pretty fun in this game. I wouldn't say it's as good as something like Punishing Grey Raven. I also don't think the character models are as good as Punishing Grey Raven. Like, I feel like this is a pretty good looking game with pretty good action combat. It's nowhere near the top of any tier. And from what I've played through, I feel like the monsters are pretty basic. I haven't fought anything really out of the ordinary. You encounter some like little bunny rabbit things. I fought this guy at least 45 times in 45 different levels. And unfortunately, I really dislike this guy because there are several instances where the enemies actually have multiple units of the same type, and it's just irritatingly difficult to do. And unfortunately, the game is at times a little bit unresponsive when using your ultimate abilities and after dodging as well. But overall, it's not really that difficult. Everything functions pretty well. The combat's nice and smooth. Characters are... Belle especially. My UR Belle is just abso-fucking-lutely ridiculously powerful. I have managed to successfully do every stage where my 2 other characters are dead, yet he somehow survives because this dude just doesn't fucking die. Like, he is just so incredibly, egregiously powerful. Like, he has no limitations whatsoever. He is an absolute god thus far out of the characters that I've played anyway. In between battles, you come across a story. The story is pretty much taken from the anime. It uses scenes that were present in the anime. Some of them were animated scenes from the anime, which I feel like is a little bit sloppy sometimes, but they also have, you know, like fully animated scenes like this where the things are done from scratch, which is good. And honestly, I feel like the story's okay. Like, it's nothing special. There are 4 different major chapters that I've seen thus far. Is it wrong to pick up Girls in a Dungeon 1, 2, 3, and 4 over on the side? Each one has quite a few individual episodes inside of it, having normal, hard, and very hard difficulties for you to alternate between if you're interested. And trust me, hard is actually very hard. I think I actually just cleared the very first hard set of stages earlier today. There's a training feature, which is tutorials. There are daily quests, which you can run one of per day. You can't run each one once per day. You can run one per day. They give you materials. Some of them are upgrade materials, currencies. There is the event stages that are currently going on. Right now it's the summer event, so you have all the waifus and bikinis. I mean, it's a solid time to get into the game, I guess, if you're interested in it. The raid mode actually just opened today. That was not there yesterday when I was playing this, or 2 days ago when I was streaming this. On the contrary, that was actually just had an image there that said coming soon. So I haven't been able to get into the raid yet. Now, concerning the gacha, there are a lot of banners going right now. An egregious amount of banners. Like, evidently they're trying to make as much money as they possibly can. I'm not gonna fault them for that. It makes complete sense. If people are willing to spend a bunch of money on it, go for it. More power to them. The whales allow for games to continue to remain online. Transitioning back to characters, yes, you can level them up. Yes, you can limit break them. Yes, you can awaken them, which enhances their rarity. You can upgrade their skills. Each skill requires, well, not every skill, but the skills have their own unique books that are associated with them, and therefore you're required to grind different books to upgrade different skills. Beyond your controllable characters, you have assist characters. These characters are upgraded, leveled, awakened in very much the same way that your controllable characters are. You have battle items that you can equip onto yourself that you can directly use during battle. There are scene cards, which again are essentially equipment. They have their own rarities. As an example, I have 2 URs. I have 4 SSRs. I have all 6 of those equipped onto my 3 respective characters. You upgrade these. You limit break these. They function exactly like characters do. All of these things, the characters, the scene cards, the assists, everyone functions exactly the same and is upgraded in much the same way. There is a familia, which is essentially just a guild. I haven't joined one because I've only been playing it for a few days, and I'm a little bit... I don't typically like guilds in gacha games. They kind of just feel like they're there for no particular reason. I feel like you never do anything with your guilds. They don't really serve much of a purpose. Before we go any further into the video, though, I want to take a moment here to thank our incredible patrons over on Patreon who allow for me to continue to do regular videos and new releases like this every single week, and dedicated videos on gacha games every single day. You guys are absolutely incredible. Beyond upgrading your characters, you also possess the ability to increase their relationship with you, their familiarity with you, their trust with you. They then present you with quests that are specific to each character after completing bond quests. And as you continue to increase their relationship status with you, you unlock more rewards, which in turn allow for you to increase the bond more, increase your strength, give them gifts. Gifts function very much the same way as every other game. Increases their relationship, which in turn, once again, allows for you to accept, go on additional quests for, etc., etc., etc. It's exactly what you'd imagine. The same can be said and done with the assist characters. Assist characters are essentially just, you know, like controllable characters that you can't actually control. Let's be honest here. There is an arena present. And if you've watched any of the videos that I've done, you'll know that I think gacha games and PvP do not work together. These are 2 features that can never work in tandem because players will always be at an advantage if they have better heroes, better waifus, better husbandos, better crowd control, better healing skills, more powerful characters. So it's never balanced and it's never fair. It's whoever wails the hardest ends up on top. And that is perfectly fine. But I can never compete with that because I only ever pay for a VIP membership and maybe a roll, a 10 or 20 roll here and there on stream. Now, there are two different forms of PvP. I'm gonna go through both of them here. This one is actually very fun. I think this is incredibly unbalanced, but it is still very fun to play. The other PvP mode is not. It's actually a huge pile of horseshit. This PvP mode in specific is essentially a giant free-for-all. There are 8 players that are all thrown into this small enclosed area, and all 8 people, all 8 players are forced to battle it out for supremacy. I did this on stream. I think I got 4th or 5th place out of 8 people, which admittedly isn't bad. That's roughly in the middle. So you're thrown into the game. You are required to go about killing these things, collecting orbs, essentially. You attempt to kill as many as you can as fast as possible, or you can just go and kill other people. Because why the fuck not? It's PvP. Like, I just killed that guy. I'm about to kill this guy too. What's he gonna do? He ain't gonna do shit. You wanna know why? Because I'm more powerful than him. Look at him. And there are a lot of players that play this. Like, I know when I did it on stream, I encountered quite a few actual real players that weren't bots, that weren't AI. I don't know if these people are AI. I can't say. They kind of seem like it based off of the fact that they're so weak. You can set yourself to auto if you want to. I mean, I feel like Jay is definitely a real person. I'm just gonna set myself to auto here purely because I kind of want to quit, but I can, it won't let me. Once you're in the game, you're kind of forced to remain in it, which is, I mean, fine. It stops you from quitting and kind of ruining the game for other players. And admittedly, I don't think I'm doing too bad. I can't tell what my ranking is right now though. I'm gonna assume it's pretty good. I'm gonna use my special abilities though and see if I can't hold on for dear life here. This isn't looking that good for me. I feel like if I wanted to, I could technically try and get to safety. Jay looks like he's about dead. He almost one-shot. Yeah, look at that. Like, see, this guy, he's just, I didn't stand a chance against him. He immediately killed me. Like, what do you do in that scenario, right? Other than just die. I'm in 2nd place though, which isn't bad. I don't think that's bad at all. This Minotaur is admittedly trying to murder me. Jay, we can kill him. We killed him. And there you go, end of the PvP match. Unfortunately, Jay ended up on top, but what can you do? I got 2nd place. I feel like that's pretty good, right? He had 92 stones, I had 14, everyone else had like 10. So evidently, like, as you could tell, the PvP is very, very pay to win. But then there is the Battle Arena, which is the other PvP game mode. I have a combat power of, I think, like 14,000, and typically I'm forced to fight people that are significantly stronger than me. 28,000, 30,000, like, this is what it's like. Level 50, 60, tons of UR characters. It doesn't matter what I go in with. This guy is double my combat power. I have 0 chance of winning. It is ridiculous. I feel like there's no actual bracket, so you're just thrown into whatever. Whoever is available, they'll hit you with, and that's who you have to fight. You don't control your character, they just go in, the AI controls them. It's not really PvP, it's your AI versus their AI. And what are they doing? And that's how one-sided it is. It's that unbalanced and that bad of an experience. That's PvP in a nutshell. I'd avoid it if I were you. Then outside of that, there's your typical, your mail missions that you complete to receive, you know, account XP, upgrade materials, currency. There's a battle pass. The battle pass provides typically what gacha games always provided. Then there's the shop. Can't really afford anything unless you spend money. And that's a game. That is Danmachi Battle Chronicle. It's not a bad game. It's a pretty basic game. The combat's fun. The animations are good. The story's kind of average. If you like the anime, you might like the story here. There's a lot to do, but it's a very gated game. And admittedly, while the combat is fun, I feel like that's pretty much the extent of the fun that I had in it. I wouldn't play this long term. There are much better alternatives out there with better character models, better combat, better story. But if you're looking for a Danmachi game to play, then there you go. This might be for you. Now, those are, again, just my opinions. They might differ from yours. It's perfectly fine. If you're not interested in Danmachi Battle Chronicle, though, absolutely no problem. I got you covered with 2 different videos on screen right now. That might be of more interest to you.